From Software is one of the most consistent developers to date. They released Demon's Souls back in 2009, pioneering the Souls-like genre, and have since put out 6 more Souls-like games, all of which have been extremely popular and received critical acclaim. Their newest title, however, decided to take a risk. Rather than continuing their tried-and-true formula, they introduced a variety of new features to the game genre that we all love, in particular, an open world. This easily could have backfired, but the exact opposite happened. Elden Ring is already set to become both their most popular and best-rated game, and one of the highest-rated video games of all time. So how did Elden Ring take a decades-old idea and somehow do it even better? What makes it great? To understand Elden Ring, we first need to understand where it came from. Souls-likes have been an extremely popular genre of video games over the past many years, and the most well-known of these is the Dark Souls trilogy. The Dark Souls games are probably best known for one thing, their unrelenting difficulty. Over the many years, Dark Souls has become almost synonymous with difficult, to the point of people calling extremely difficult things the Dark Souls of blank. And yet it is not just the difficulty that makes these games so good. Plenty of games are difficult or frustrating. It's the fact that Dark Souls does difficulty well. Dark Souls is a rewarding experience when it's at its best because the bosses punish you for your mistakes, and you defeat them by becoming better. When you die on a boss, you should feel as if it was your fault. And while sometimes the difficulty doesn't quite hit the mark, looking at you, Iron Keep. Oh my god! It is the fair difficulty that has made these games so famous. Miyazaki, the director of most From Software's Souls-likes, has stated that he wants as many people as possible to experience the overcoming of hardships, and that is in many ways the core of the Souls experience. However, this difficulty alone is not the only thing that has made these games so unique. Storytelling is an extremely important part of video games that often gets overlooked. While not necessary to a game, a good story and world can give an immense amount of motivation to continue, as well as satisfaction when you accomplish things. It gives weight to your actions in the game. A well-written game can immerse you in its world and provide a meaningful story to remember. Most games approach storytelling very similar to movies. They tell a story, they introduce you to characters in a world, and try to get you to care about what they are doing. And they put you, the main character, at the center of it. Most stories, be that books, movies, or video games, focus on trying to get you to care about the characters. If you care about characters, then you care about the story, and you care what they're going through. From Software not only revolutionized game mechanics with their Souls games, but also game storytelling. The Dark Souls games don't focus on introducing you to characters and a primary storyline to follow, and they don't focus on trying to make you understand or care about necessarily every little thing. Instead, they throw you in a vast and broken world with only hints of what happened here, and of what is to come next. My favorite way to describe this is show, not tell. Rather than having narrative that tells you the situation, they put statues, corpses, and broken buildings all around you to slowly show you what kind of world you are residing in. This form of storytelling and ominous world building has become a popular idea in recent years, utilized by many famous games. Of course, there are bits of dialogue from the NPC to help you get the story, but never quite the full picture. It is up to the player to decipher this cryptic world. By putting the storytelling in the background, they somehow make it even more immersive. By littering a world with hints, it is up to you to actively engage and learn the story. And in a way, you are learning it with your character. While the uniqueness of both the difficulty as well as the storytelling are both integral to the Dark Souls games, it is in many ways the overall quality of these games that allows them to succeed. Every part of the Dark Souls series feels handcrafted and with passion, something that many big studios often lose. Every choice is deliberate and careful, from the masterfully crafted levels that loop back on themselves, to the complex boss movesets, to the precise scattering of lore hints throughout the game. The bosses are once again extremely difficult, with complex movesets, and visually the most stunning we've ever seen. And with a larger world comes a larger story, even more little secrets, hidden places, and cryptic dialogue for players to discover. And most importantly, they didn't lose the attention to detail from previous games. Elden Ring found a perfect balance to world size to allow for a larger game, but still fill it to the brim. Every zone feels crafted with care, just as the previous games, and there are still dungeons and castles with signature From Software design, as well as even more secrets and goodies packed into this new larger world. So Elden Ring kept everything good that the Dark Souls games did, which is great, but what did they do new? How did they not just continue, but improve upon the formula? In one word, freedom. From the moment you walk out of the tutorial zone into the world, you can tell that this game is different. Dark Souls loves cramped hallways and tunnels, directing you to go forward, but Elden Ring takes a different approach. It immediately puts you on a big overlook to a huge field, and suddenly, you can go anywhere. You can do anything. And this freedom isn't just allowed, it is rewarded. Elden Ring avoids perhaps the biggest pitfall of open world games, an empty map. In this game, anywhere you go has something. There are so many secrets, items, passageways, bosses, and more everywhere in this game. Anytime you walk somewhere, you will be finding something to help you along your journey. As with previous games, this is a masterfully crafted world, but instead of guiding you through a journey like the previous games, it stands open for you to craft your own path. And that's not the only form of freedom they have expanded upon. While magic has existed in From Software games since the beginning, it has often struggled to keep up with traditional melee builds. In Elden Ring no more. Magic is incredibly valuable, and there are many ways to build around it. Players have more freedom than ever to build and play their character however they want, further contributing to this open game. Perhaps the most important way that Elden Ring embodies freedom is in how you can approach bosses, or really any of the challenges in this game. Previous games have been much more linear, meaning if you are at a boss, that is often the only next thing for you to do. And while this definitely has its merit, it forces you to get good at something. Elden Ring takes a different approach. It gives you the freedom to choose. You can always take a different path, or avoid a tough enemy, or go explore to find more upgrades. Even just running past enemies on a horse feels like a breath of fresh air after Dark Souls 2. The Ash of War system is a great micro-example of how they revamped old systems from the Dark Souls games. In previous games, you could use specific items to change the scalings on weapons, or to add effects like fire. Doing so, however, consumed the item and cost resources, so you had to be careful when doing so. Elden Ring simply says, what if you could change whenever you wanted, and no cost? And on top of that, adds even more customization by allowing you to change weapon arts. And while this specific case may seem like a minor change, it's just another example of how much more freedom you have in this game. And this immense form of freedom gives control to the player. If you want to bash your head into a boss until you beat it, go for it. If you want to figure out some devious way to exploit its weakness, also valid. You can summon other players, abuse weird item interactions, use powerful spirit ashes, easily swap out weapon infusions for specific bosses. There are so many tools available to you to overcome the immense challenge that this game throws at you. And that is what makes Elden Ring so great. Elden Ring was one of those games with so much hype that it would never meet the expectations, and yet somehow it did. It even exceeded them. But this wasn't through dumb luck. This game is crafted upon hundreds, even thousands of deliberate choices made by the developers. They continued with the things that worked great in all their previous games, and pulled in learnings from other open world games to deliver a truly revolutionary experience. This game is the culmination of an incredible series of games, over 10 years of learning tucked into one of the greatest games ever made. Except for the Godskin duo. They fucking sucked. Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!